Good morning, good evening, everyone, whoever's logged in. Welcome to Pixel Project's second webinar, weekend webinar. I'm Urjasi Rudra. I coordinate a global communications campaign on ending violence against women and girls for the United Nations Development Fund for Women, UNIFEM. The campaign is called Say No, Unite to End Violence Against Women. Pixel Project is a partner, I'm so proud to report. And I'm here today to talk about some of the exciting things that are happening in the context of the Say No campaign and advocacy initiatives by individuals and organizations from all around the world that we've come to know of through the Say No campaign website and platform. So I will start by giving you a brief introduction of the Say No campaign, a small story about what has been an incredibly interesting journey for the entire UNIFEM team here and for our partners. Say No started as a signature campaign in 2007. Its goal was simple. We wanted to raise 1 million signatures, symbolizing the collective voice of 1 million people demanding from governments worldwide that ending violence against women and girls must be made a top priority. Now, by end of 2008, we had received more than 5 million signatures from people all over the world. And we saw those signatures being translated into actions when more governments started signing on to the campaign publicly and subsequently taking actions locally and nationally. For example, some of the governments, when they publicly signed on to Say No, they started launching or strengthening their national action plans and national strategies on ending violence against women, providing training to judiciary and police officers to provide victim support and really supporting funds and programs that work on the issue. And additionally, many governments and parliamentarians signed on to Say No to demonstrate the much needed political will and commitment to work on the issue. Now, it was clear to us and our partners that this was the time and an opportunity to build on the momentum that has been started, that has been gained, not to sit back and lose it at the end of the first phase of the campaign in 2008. It was also apparent that we needed to focus broadly but squarely on actions and accountability. And while there is more political will now than ever before, it still needed to be translated into policy and policy needs to still be translated into action. Now, UNIFEM relaunched Say No in November 2009 with a new focus on actions, accountability, social mobilization, grounded in the central idea that everyone has a role to play. And if we do play that role, we can end violence against women and girls. Today, Say No is more than a campaign. It is more like your advocacy platform on ending violence against women and girls. Through an online and a social media friendly interactive website, it counts and showcases actions on the ground. Actions by individuals, governments, civil society organizations. Now, what do we mean by actions? Actions range from organizations gathering signatures towards a petition for a new law in a country or in a locality, to individuals volunteering their time to work with women's organizations, women's shelters, organizations and advocates reaching out to school children and youth with the message of prevention or with curriculum and workshops on gender sensitization, etc. Now, together, the number of actions raised symbolizes the global momentum for change and the groundswell of activism on the issue. Women and men all over the world are working towards ending violence against women. Many of you today logged in here are working on the issue. Without duplicating that work, without replacing your work, UNIFEM wanted to really hold a mirror to the breadth and depth of activism that exists on the issue. And Say No makes it possible to do that. It makes it possible for us to know what is going down in the steps of the parliaments in Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., in the United States, or the halls of the United Nations, but also what is happening in the tiny village in Kenya or a town in Pakistan, the streets of Vienna or Philippines, with a few clicks and through this interactive website. That's the essence of Say No. It is a global communications campaign on ending violence against women that provides an advocacy platform for all who are working on the issue. And it links local and national advocacy on the issue with a global network. At a time when the use of social media can be a powerful tool for women and their work on ending violence against women, Say No highlights partners' initiatives by reaching out to new audiences on social media. Every time an action gets recorded on Say No, what also happens behind the scene is that the UNIFEM team reaches out to influential bloggers and audiences on social media, whether it is to Facebook, Twitter, or other such spaces, to highlight these incredible initiatives that are happening locally and nationally as well as globally. Now, Say No has reached and surpassed its initial target of reaching 100,000 actions this month, and this is all because of our partners' tireless work. Um, and we now have more than 200,000 actions that you can see registered on Say No when you visit the website on www.saynotoviolence.org. And it shows the work of organizations and activists from Uganda to Austria, Vanuatu to Philippines. You can join a march that is happening in London virtually by showing your support on an action page on Say No. You can find out about new and catalytic initiatives happening in different countries or in your own country. You can join these efforts online or in person. You can influence the lives of real women when you take action on Say No. For instance, there is a petition up for the US Congress to pass the International Violence Against Women Act. Now, anyone can sign on to that petition, and the reason is because when passed, this act can actually influence US foreign assistance programs and address violence against women in all the countries where the foreign assistance programs are being implemented. So you can have a voice in that. You can make your own local or national work visible through Say No. You can find out what others from your region and country are doing. You can share ideas and build your networks on Say No. That's what it exists for. Remember, our experience in women's rights so far tells us quite bluntly, really, that what doesn't get counted doesn't count. I'm going to take it another step forward and remind us that what is not visible will not get counted either. So Say No was relaunched and redesigned in order to show everyone, and particularly to decision makers and to governments, the global picture of activism on ending violence against women. For instance, Say No can make local efforts visible on a global forum instantly. A small community-based organization in Kenya called Men for Gender Equality Now sends its men members to distant villages in Kenya to talk to the communities about gender-based violence, reaching out to the community through discussions, street theater, etc. It is such a unique and successful initiative, but few had heard about it before. But once Megan, Men for Gender Equality Now, that's the name of the organization, reported about this initiative in the